Good evening, everybody. Tonight, this seems more appropriate than today at 10 p.m. I'm going to talk about my two passions, technology and my two kids. I've been in touch with the PC since when I was 11, and it was 1982. Today, I work also in the technology field, and I've been dealing with my other passion, my children, since when I was 35, and it was 2006. You know, shorter time, but believe me, a more intense period and more passion. So when I started thinking about sharing my experience here, I realized that education, technology, kids, and water are strongly related in our life. In fact, the water, the sea and the ocean could be thought as composed of billions of drops. And the water is also the key element of our life in the universe, as many species before have very easily and very well highlighted. So the ocean can be seen as an infinite set of drops of life. But today, in the digital era, there is also another element that seems to be as important as water. In fact, most of us cannot stay more than 10 minutes without checking the Facebook status or without sending a WhatsApp or a Twitter message. All of them are drops of information that together build the new internet. It is critical then to realize the importance of surfing the internet with the same awareness and same competence as a surfer rides the huge ocean wave, because the internet is beautiful, is interesting, is extremely fascinating, but it could be dangerous as well. And it is even more critical when the surfers are our drops of life, our kids. They are the first digital generation. They were born in a world of connected devices. They play online games. They listen to fairy tales streaming from the internet. And they can chat with the school friends. For us, it was different, because I had my first internet connection in my college years, and it was through a very slow modem while I connected with my PC. Today, our kids don't even know they need some stuff to be connected with a cable to the net. For them, internet is everywhere, is in the air. They've lived with the internet since the very beginning of their life. It's not a college-time discovery. I retrieved some data from the ISTAT, Italian Statistical Institute, and they show the online activity of the Italian population, and they are organized by age range in percentage. These data show clearly a trend for kids from 6 to 10, because their online activity is growing year after year. But there is another key point, because kids between 11 and 14 have an online activity which is higher than ours, their parents. That's why I decided to volunteer in the Safer Internet Day, which is a day celebrated every year in February. And it aims to teach to the kids how to surf the internet in a safe and in a happy way, and to teach also the parents and the school teacher as well how to deal with it. Volunteering at SAD is an incredible experience. I can tell you that standing in front of 30, 40 primary school kids who stare at you with expectation and curiosity is a totally different experience. For my profession, I usually have meetings with customers, and I talk to CIOs and to CEOs, but it is completely different. And in this talk, I don't want to bother you with technical advice, with antivirus stuff, or with cyberbullying issue, but I want to share with you my key learnings and top hints we could use as parents in dealing with our kids' use of the internet. Whenever I start a new classroom, I usually warm up the audience with some questions, and one of the first things I do is to show this image. Hopefully, most of you can recognize it, because I tell you that the first time I did it, there was one of the youngest guy in the audience who cried out immediately, "A CPU!" He was very sure about that. And actually, he was right. So I prepared a bunch of hints to get the audience to the right answer, but I skipped them all. And as soon as the CPU mystery is solved, I start to focus the attention on what it is exactly and where we can find it. First of all, we can find it everywhere. In every electronic device today, we have a CPU. It is in our PC, in our tablet, in our smartphone, in our gaming console, in our TV. And when it comes to the definition, it's funny because the next slide has been shown already in this, in this meeting. So the world has changed because we query Wikipedia for everything, and I queried also for the CPU. And it is easy to highlight the task of the CPU because it just reads instructions from memory and execute them. Anything else. That means that the CPU and the devices we have today, and that today are in our kids' hands, are also very powerful, doesn't do anything by themselves. They will do exactly what we want to do with them. It's very easy. That's why we have to use these devices in a clever and a wise way. And it is even more true if we think that these devices are internet connected. And the internet is pretty much different from the first internet. In fact, in the very beginning, in the old days, the user was just a passive reader. It just got a few information in a textual way. Today, internet is more interactive. The user is an active actor on the internet. He has a social life. He can buy stuff from the other part of the world. He can listen to music and share the same playlist with his friends. He can be in contact with anybody on the planet. It happened to me last week to have a video call with my grandma, and she lives in La Spezia, and I live here in Rome. And my two kids had the opportunity to talk and to see her as they were in the same room. But actually, they were 500 kilometers away. Of course, this kind of interaction raises some security issue, because whenever you're interacting with someone else on the internet, there is a filter between you, your kids, and the other person. And the filter is the device itself, and is also the avatar, which is the digital entity, behind which that person could hide himself and could also fake his identity. It raises also some behavioral issue, because whenever you upload an image or you write something on the internet, it will be stay there forever. It will be a drop of your life, of your kid's life, which will be permanent in the internet ocean. And whenever I talk to other people about this issue, it seems that they underestimate their kids' digital life and their kids' competencies. One time, in one session I had in a primary school, there was a very young girl, 10 years old, who came to me during the break and said, "Luca, I developed an app for Facebook." And I was astonished, because in that very moment, I realized that she was just a little bit older than my daughter, and she had already developed an app for Facebook. And believe me, it's very different from just getting a tablet and playing Candy Crush. And this kind of underestimation brings also parents in behaving in different way, because we can have parents very focused on the real world, and they stress so much the basic principle, never talk to strangers. And when it comes to the digital world, they leave their kids alone online, in the online dimension. And we can have also those parents I call the scared parents. They are those who believe they can prevent their kids from going online. But these are just a couple of examples of parents' behavior. And if we stop for a while right now and we think how many times we have given our smartphone to our kids, treating the smartphone as a babysitter, probably too many times. We have to think that the online activity of our kids starts very soon. Remember the bubble graph before, and remember that the new generation has an online activity higher than ours. It means that we, the parents, in our 40s, in our 50s, are losing ground in a technology race. And I think also that the kids, our kids, already overtaken us in that race. So we have to be very sure about their kids' digital life, and there are several reasons why we are not updated. Probably the new internet is not very interesting for us, or we think that our generation is not able to use the new technology, or simply we don't like it. But just few of us are very aware of how dangerous this attitude could be, because leaving our kids online alone could lead them to meet a stranger, for example, on the internet. But even more likely, it could lead also to get in touch with inappropriate material. Because, you know, the new interfaces, the touch interface is very easy to use. And my daughter, my son are very quick, very fast. They have more fingers. They can touch here and there. And it's very easy to click on a link, to have a pop-up with a bad image. Or, as a friend of mine told me recently, he left his kid alone in a gaming console and was playing a game. When he went back, he found out that the small creator, 3 years old, had gone to the store, bought a new game, and was playing to that. And it was worth 50 euros. And I told him, welcome to the digital era. Therefore, we as parents should improve our technical skills. You know, I'm in the technical sales, and every day, every month, every year, I have new products to sell, because there are new products released. And the best way to become an expert on this product is to practice, to put my hands on them. And this is the same in the technology field with our kids. It's the same in the sport. If you want to master it, you have to practice. But there is a good news. You can have fun. It could be very enjoyable together with your kids. And we have to be able to explain to our kids what the social network is, which are the differences between blog and chats, and why we need to protect our online identity. But, you know, it's just the first part of the journey to become a digital friend for our kids. And, you know, just to be clear, in my title speech, there is a question point. It's necessary. It's not an option. We have to do that, for sure, because the second part of the journey is even more important. We cannot postpone this issue. We cannot say our kids are too young for their online life, because we have seen that that day is today. They're going online today, right now. And if we don't do that, if we don't follow them in their online life, probably we are creating a huge barrier between us and them. And, you know, building a barrier is very simple, it's very fast. Breaking it down could be very complicated and could take a long time. One night in August 1961, the Berlin Wall was built. And, you know, many families were split immediately overnight. And that wall lasted for 28 years. Thank you very much.